What are we
Hello,
doing?
everyone, and welcome to our channel and the Hitchcock Challenge. I will be one of your hosts, Kenny. With me for the duration will be my co-hosts, Sam and Lance.
Hello.
Starting next week, the three of us have taken on the challenge of watching and reviewing every single movie Alfred Hitchcock directed in chronological order. And we're inviting you to join us. So each week we will watch one of his movies, cram a bunch of late night research in about that movie.
It's not too hard to explain. We're watching every single Alfred Hitchcock movie. I guess that's a challenge.
Yes.
It's tough to do. It's tough to watch movies. It's tough to watch a screen and not try in the middle of it to watch another screen simultaneously.
Especially
Right.
when it's these early silent films, which require a heroic effort of concentration sometimes to continue to watch.
Same, but I was up to the heroic task. I did not
Indeed.
mess
We're
with
all heroes. A round of applause for us.
Round of applause.
Woo!
We would love to hear your thoughts on each film, read your reviews, and we'll issue challenges within the challenge periodically to do giveaways or just give homework to the community. So please leave your thoughts in the comments section, subscribe to our channel to be eligible for any giveaways, and just to let us know you support this kind of thing.
And the only one of us who has done any kind of formal study of film is Lantz, who is responsible for any inaccuracies or misstatements that will be occurring throughout this series. So direct all your comments to him and him alone.
Indeed. My credentials, the sum total of my credentials is an intro to film class at Santa Barbara City College.
We probably would have had these conversations anyway if we were just hanging out together. So, but I think with the global
There'd be a lot
pandemic,
more alcohol involved, though.
yes, alcohol would have been involved. Here we have to use coffee and
Speak for yourself.
okay, so here's the project. Depending on where you get your information, Alfred Hitchcock is responsible for 54 films as director. One of those films, The Mountain Eagle, is lost. One of his films he directed two versions of, one in English, one in German, with totally different casts on the same sets. We're going to be reviewing both of these. We're going to cover all of his movies for you, including the missing one, and we have at least 57 episodes as of right now planned. We are not currently including what was the 18 episodes of Alfred Hitchcock Presents that he directed, but if the community demands it and we want to keep going, then maybe we will add those at the end.
I might pretend to be an enthusiastic public and comment anonymously under an alternate account and demand that we do so. Yeah, I could see that happening down the line.
Before we started this, just to show how we're not Hitchcock experts, how many of these movies have you guys watched?
I saw 5. I did my homework and I watched Psycho, of course. I watched Rear Window in a film class. I watched Vertigo in a film class, and I watched North by Northwest and Saboteur.
Oh wow!
And that's it. Those are the ones I've seen.
You never saw The Birds?
I never saw The Birds, so I saw parts of The Birds when I was a little kid, and it freaked the shit out of me. So I didn't ever want to watch it after that. It was very disturbing. Was it Tippi Hedren? Was that who was the blonde in that particular one who was getting pecked by crows? Mm-hmm. That's pretty traumatic. So
yeah, they had a strange relationship, I hear.
Yeah, we'll definitely get to that by the Birds episode, I'm sure. But what about you, Sam? How many have you seen?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I've seen 10 movies. So I've seen Frenzy, Marnie, The Birds, Psycho, North by Northwest, Vertigo, Rear Window, Dial M for Murder, Strangers on a Train, and To Catch a Thief.
Wow, you are the resident Hitchcock scholar here, because I've seen 7, so 10 is pretty good.
Oh, I left one out. Rope I've also seen. If you like me are a fool and can't figure out the what are they even called? Torrent sites. If you can't figure that out, you do things like you go on iTunes and say, oh, I'm going to buy the Alfred Hitchcock collection of 5 movies, which is like 3 movies that you want and 2 movies that you don't really want, but you'll take a chance on.
My list has 7 movies on it, and although 2 of them are from about 5 years ago, I started this Hitchcock challenge on my own, just privately, and I watched The Lodger and The Pleasure Garden. They count, I guess, because I saw them before this, but they don't count because they were part of the Hitchcock challenge just along the one before this one. Otherwise, I saw Lifeboat and The Birds as a kid, for sure. I remember Lifeboat was on television a lot. And then as a kid, I would always think, oh, it's the Poseidon Adventure. And I'd get excited. And then it wasn't the Poseidon Adventure. The Birds, I really liked as a kid. I saw that a lot. I saw Psycho soon, probably after college at some point, just because that was one you kind of had to see. Rear Window, I saw on my own. And Vertigo, I actually watched about 2 years ago for the first time. So kind of the main hits. Seems like we've all seen Psycho, Rear Window, and Vertigo. Does that sound about right? Our overlap?
North by Northwest. You guys
I didn't see that.
I've
never seen that.
Yeah.
As of this moment, what movie is your favorite Hitchcock movie of the ones you've seen?
I'm going to
see if it remains the same at the end.
The one that sort of stands out as something that was very moving and very dramatic to me was Vertigo. Like it was a movie that I can still recall really having a lot of very strong emotions during and after. It's a very melancholy movie from what I can recall. But I'm looking forward to seeing it again, seeing how it holds up after these many years.
I'll jump in and say, for me, it's The Birds, because it's, again, totally nostalgic. I remember seeing it as a little kid. The idea of birds just randomly attacking a town was really, it's something I never really had thought about. So, all of a sudden you're walking to school and you're looking at birds differently. I kind of like weird.
What Spielberg did with sharks.
Yes.
Did with birds. Yeah.
Only birds, sharks you would expect to be dangerous. Birds, you don't think, oh, they're going to poke people's eyes out. And I also liked the element of that it seemed to be following this woman. There's kind of these hints that her coming to town had something to do with it. So the idea in my young head of like, you could be the problem that all these people are dealing with in some way. I don't know. That's a movie. I feel like that could change by the time we're done with this project though, but Sam?
That's an interesting, because of all the Hitchcock movies I've seen, The Birds is the only one that I don't remember liking, but maybe that'll change when we watch it again. I just, for whatever reason, that's one of those movies it's a famous movie, but it didn't work on me. But maybe watching it now, I don't know. I'm not going to hypothesize or theorize about what I'm going to think when I watch this movie again after
at episode 51.
Yeah. I love Rear Window. I don't know. Vertigo, I'd love to steal Lance's answer because that's such a melancholic and interesting movie, and it's like poetic and strange in a lot of ways. But I think of Rear Window as kind of a perfect movie too. It's fun. It's got depth, but it's like eminently enjoyable. It's a movie that operates on a few levels, and you don't have to be aware of any of them or all of them to really just get it, and feel it. And I don't know. I'm a sucker. I like Jimmy Stewart, and I think the on-screen chemistry with Grace Kelly is really cool, and there's just a lot about that movie that I like. I love the set. It's a beautifully shot movie, and it has so many just great and striking visual elements. And it's original, and it all kind of mostly takes place in this one setting that I don't know. It's just, there's a million things about it that are just so technically cool. Storytelling is great, and there's a lot to think about with it. So it's my answer.
So we are, for our first 10 episodes here, we will be covering Alfred Hitchcock's silent era. These movies were all restored by BFI in 2012, and 7 of them have excellent releases that you can watch now. It's actually a great time to get into Hitchcock movie watching because they're out there and you can find them if you so choose. Tinting and soundtracks was something I wanted to just explain to people right away what they should be looking for when you're trying to find these movies online. Just a quick kind of what is a person at home? Why is this an issue?
But some knowledge that I've accumulated on this subject is from the movies we've watched so far. But typically in the silent era, it apparently was not unusual for prints to be tinted, and those print tints might evoke a mood or a setting. And then of course there's the soundtrack, which, as we've all discovered in going through these movies, there are many different soundtracks that might be available for a particular silent film. The silent films didn't necessarily come with a score. They might come with notes, I guess conductor notes to the conductor or the pianist or organist or whatever, to indicate what scenes have drama or romance. But typically the music was probably a lot of classical and a lot of kind of boilerplate music, or what would have been popular in the day. So when you find these silent films online, often they have different soundtracks, and some of them are more modern than others. Some of them distractingly so.
We'll tell you if there's a release done by, say, Criterion, who are well known for doing good preservation of movies. And we'll tell you if you're just going to have to find it on YouTube or find it online somewhere. Or our primary resources as we start this are the Hitchcock Truffaut book, which is behind me here. When you guys want to explain what happens in that book.
I hope I don't get this wrong. This is a transcription of an interview that was like a televised interview between François Truffaut, who is the great director, the great French director, and Alfred Hitchcock. He recorded an interview with them, and they go over every single one of Hitchcock's movies in detail. You get to hear read in the book case what the director thought about each film. And if you're into Alfred Hitchcock or the time period or Truffaut or movies or anything, it's cool to read. I haven't read it cover to cover. It's not the kind of book you need to read cover to cover. You can kind of just like go in and read about movies you've seen. I'm someone who hates reading about movies before I've seen them. I don't like the going into a movie with a expectation built in. So
the two of you are also reading, I don't have this book yet, the Taschen Hitchcock.
Yeah, so Alfred Hitchcock, the complete films. This is a Taschen book. It's edited by Paul Duncan with an essay by Paul Duncan. It has beautiful photographs, and it has all of his films in chronological order. And it is just it's a fine discussion piece, and it has this very handy bookmark holder. So it is actually a really beautiful book, and it's only $40. So it's.
If I could second Lance's endorsement of the Taschen book, I would like to throw in that there's a lot of interesting film scholarship in there. And you get production stills, you get posters, you get ephemera, you get all kinds of like interesting stuff. There's a biographical section that covers like his life.
All right. I also want to shout out to brentonfilm.com, which you can find on the internet. I found this website when we started doing research for the show, and he is by far the most complete source of information on Hitchcock films. If you like what we're doing here, definitely check out his site for even deeper analysis. He has all sorts of lists. He lists every possible way that you could watch these movies, no matter where you live in the world. We are mostly going to be talking about ways to watch it in the United States. DVDs and Blu-rays are region coded, so there might be a really great edition available in Europe that we have absolutely no way of watching over here, short of buying a region DVD player and hoping it works. So, but if you live overseas, watch this show and want to find some information we don't have, go to his site. So, everyone, premiering here next week in episode 1 of Presenting Alfred Hitchcock, we will be reviewing the first movie that he directed on his own, The Pleasure Garden from 1925. Your assignment, should you choose to take it, is to find The Pleasure Garden. It's not easy to get. It was recently restored by the BFI, but is still, unfortunately, not available on DVD or Blu-ray anywhere. It's definitely not in the United States. So watch whatever you can find. Meet us back here for episode 1. Thanks for supporting our channel. We're excited to watch these movies and knock them off our bucket list, I guess. And hope to see you all here next week.
The problem in America is that the audience, whatever degree of education they have, ask questions. And they ask quite offbeat questions. I have a phrase for it. Not that I want to deprecate the American audience, or the world audience for that matter, but the phrase I use is moronic logic.